I wanted to also address the idea of sexual love, of eros. And from the way, from the perspective of love is receiving joy from another's joy and feeling that connection, then the idea of making love is not a euphemism at all. It is an accurate, exact way of defining the act of sex. In some people's lives, I would argue that that's the only time that they actually demonstrate and feel true gifting and true love is when they are in that place of really wanting joy, pleasure from for their partner, to the point that they actually receive joy and pleasure from the other's pleasure. Who hasn't had that feeling of when their partner climaxes, of feeling like you too experience that same pleasure because you have surrendered, you feel love. And I believe you can feel that love in a moment, in a night. I believe you can love someone for a night for that reason, where you feel like you cannot define yourself without the person, and their joy brings you joy. For that night, you love that person. And then, of course, in the more agape sense, simply because you are connected, their joy brings you joy. There was a lecture I listened to by Osho that talked about how our relationships and the love we have in relationships changes as we grow in our mastery or in this guru type love. And that he was saying that when you're way down the path of spirituality, the idea of a single romantic relationship becomes ridiculous because you don't have a distinguishment between the love you feel for an individual and the love you feel for all people. Now, I don't know if that is a argument in favor of, to try to justify wanton orgies and sexual encounters. I don't care. I'm a big fan of orgies and sexual encounters. So, no, I'm just kidding. Well, no, I'm not kidding, but I think that Osho is extremely wise, and I think that he is in alignment, and I think that's a really interesting idea. And I think my experience has been similar, not in that degree, but in the degree that the more I grow as myself, the more I realize that love, even in a romantic relationship, becomes less and less about the other person and much more about me and my ability to love that person as a perfect example of the divine. And then every choice I make is not like, oh, I wish they changed this. It's just like, is this something that I'm able to process at this level of my spirituality? If I'm at Osho's level, then the other person could do almost anything and it wouldn't bother me. I'm not that evolved. So if my partner, say, has a tendency of, punching me in the face, that's something that I can't get over. But I have at least gotten to the point where I recognize all I can do is communicate that I don't like that. And if they don't go, if it's not merely a educational, go, oh, okay, I'm sorry, well then I won't do it. But if it's something that they do, they just like to punch people in the face, then I cannot be attached to the idea of trying to change them and make them stop hitting me in the face. I simply need to ask myself, is hitting me in the face something that I can live with? And I think that's the same with infidelity. A partner who cheats or lies, you can't try to force the other person not to do it. You simply explain your situation, your truth, and if they are in alignment with that truth, then you move on. If they're not, then you just can only ask, can I be with this person if they want to have other lovers? And that's really a personal decision with where you are. Interesting stuff in this world of love. It's just a word, but it's so much more.